What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Star Citizen discussion video. I know I've been kind of away from Star Citizen for about 2 weeks because Star Wars Jedi Survivor came out and I got so addicted to it, put my entire playthrough on the channel. But now I'm back doing some Star Citizen stuff and probably some Star Wars The Old Republic stuff. But today I wanted to talk about the Crusader Spirit series coming out at some point. Let's call it soon TM. But the Crusader Spirit series are a line of ships that I was very excited about the minute I heard about them, especially one of the variants. And I think if you know me by now, you know exactly what variant it is. But the Crusader Spirits are a series of ships that fill multiple different roles. The A1 Spirit is the combat variant, specifying in bombing ground targets like its big sister, the Hercules Starlifter A2 bomber. The C1 is a medium freighter. It's honestly a direct competitor to what the Drake Cutlass Black is. They're a little bit bigger. Like the C1 is honestly now quite a little bit bigger than the Cutty Black, but it basically fills the same role. But it has one little added bonus that the Cutty Black does not have. And we also have the E1, which I personally think is the black sheep of the pack out of these three ships, because it fills a role that we technically don't have a game loop for yet. It's considered a luxury VIP, like Starliner. Basically call it the private jet of the verse. Now, the C1 was on sale when they launched their concept sale of the three. Was on sale for $100 American war bond and $110 American standard. The E1 was on sale for $135 American war bond or $150 standard, and the A1 was on sale for $155 American war bond and $175 American standard. Moving on from prices and all that stuff, the looks of the ship, all three of them, simple enough without getting into too much detail. They look like the frickin' Batwing, especially the A1 with that stock black paint. It looks like the freaking Batwing, dude. Like if yeah, there's multiple variations of the Batwing in all of DC and all different versions of Batman. But I don't know, when I look at the spirits, especially the A1, it just screams Batwing to me, and I am so down for it, 100%. But to get into how big they are, well, they were 35 meters long, 25 meters wide, but they have gotten bigger since announcement. They are now 46.5 meters long and 43.5 meters wide. That's pretty close to the MSR now, if I'm remembering correctly. But all the components to these ships are size 2, like the quantum drive and the shields. It's got one size 2 shield that I know off the top of my head. I believe everything else is pretty much singular except for the coolers and maybe even the power plants. It also has a medium size fuel tank, QT tank. Literally every component you can think of, or anything that has a size limit to functionality of the ship, is a size 2 or medium size. Honestly, when it comes to how, again, back to how it looks, and without getting really technical out of it, if you look at the engines and you look at the thrusters, it looks like they were just stripped off of the Hercules and the MSR and just stuck somewhere on the Spirit. I mean, even if you look at the cockpit of the Spirits, it looks like they just ripped the cockpit out of the MSR and just stuck it on this thing. So there is a lot of familiarity. I don't know how to say that word. Similarities. We'll go with that. Similarities to Crusader ships. I mean, it speaks that design language, but I just love the fact that it just looks like it's took this part from this ship, this part from this ship, and we put it together and make a whole new ship. I kind of like that idea. So when it comes to weapons, though, all the variants have the same pilot-controlled weapon hardpoints, with 4 size 3 weapon hardpoints coming stock with 2 size 2 gimbal weapons and 2 size 3 fixed weapons. I do see some contradicting on the weapons when it comes to like doing my research and stuff like that. I see under the nose single gimbal mounts with a size 2 on there, giving me the impression that you can size those up to 2 fixed size 3s, which is what I hope for and what I would do to have 4 size 3 weapons. But I'm also seeing it's a size 3 turret with 2 size 2 weapons on it that act like a gimbal. So I'm seeing different things about that. I'm not 100% sure which one is true. I'm just hoping they are just single gimbal mounts that I can upsize to 2 size 3 weapons, because that would be awesome. Because with that, it has the potential to do the same amount of DPS as a Saber or a Banded Defender. But they also have 4 size 3 missiles, which is again the same as a Saber. The Saber comes stock with 4 size 3 missiles. At least my Comet does. I'm not 100% sure if the standard Saber does, but my Comet does. Which I'm also hoping I will be able to stick 2 size 4 missiles on these ships, just like I can on the Saber, because if I can, I will do that as well. They also all have a remote turret. The A1 and the E1 both share a dual size 2 remote rear-facing remote turret, but the C1 replaces that turret with a tractor beam. I'm hoping by the time these ships come out, that tractor beam will actually be functional, because that would be great. I don't know when these ships are coming out. I'm kind of hoping Invictus, but I doubt it, because I think Invictus is right around the corner, and I think it's way too close. So hopefully IAE at the earliest. The A1 also differs from the rest because obviously it is a bomber variant. So along with the missiles it carries, it also carries 10 size 5 bombs in the bomb bay. Those racks are bespoke, so you won't be able to change out those racks for, like, let's say different sizes when they add different bombs. But there is, I won't call a theory, but I'm hopeful, and I think it would be awesome if those missile racks are no longer bespoke, and eventually down the line, it'd be cool if you can swap those out with personnel drop pods and making it a ship kind of like a ship that can drop troops, kind of like ODSTs from Halo. I think that'd be cool. I don't think it will ever happen, but I think it'll be cool. But yeah, it's got those those bomb racks are bespoke, and it carries 10 size 5 bombs, and that's a lot of firepower, at least for a medium-sized ship. So to be completely honest with you, I'm not terribly interested in the C1 and the E1 variants. The C1 is being a direct competitor to the Cutlass Black. It fills a game loop that I use other ships for, like bunker running and running contraband and various other things, or like running ground vehicles and stuff like that. I just have other ships for that, and most people already do, let's be honest. And if you want the new thing on the block to do the same thing you like to do, go for it. All you. Just, it's not something I'm interested in. I do think the C1 will be a good choice for fitting those roles, because I do think it's going to have great maneuverability. It's got decent firepower, and it's got a good ramp, so you'll be able to be a loot goblin and stuff armor and bodies and stuff like that, or loot or vehicles and stuff like that. And the A1, or not the A1, the E1, like I said, is the black sheep out of this series, because again, it fills a game loop that's just not really a thing yet. I like the idea of transporting VIBs. What the hell's a VIB? VIPs from one end of the verse to the other. But I do think the ship would make a good pick, or be a good pick for that purpose. But the origin ships exist. The Constellation Phoenix exists already, right? And honestly, I think those, yeah, it gives you another option, and variety is good. Options are good, but there's something about the origin ships that scream. I mean, it's not something that's about them. They're made for these. They scream VIP transports. When you look at the 400i, 600i, and the 890 jump, it just screams, I got VIPs, we going somewhere. That's what it is to me. So with the origin ships, they just don't, it makes the E1 for me kind of like meh. That's just me. But the A1, the bomber variant, is the one that caught my eye, because as you guys know, I am primarily a PvE combat pilot that dabbles a little bit into PvP every so often. And I honestly think the A1 will fit a perfect role for like a jack of all trades daily driver for a combat pilot, similar to the Vanguards, but the Vanguard doesn't quite do one thing that I am excited that this ship would fit for. It has, like I said, it has the same potential. It possibly has the same potential DPS as a Saber, which you all know is my favorite fighter in the game, and the Banu Defender, which is awesome. Honestly, 4 size 3 weapons, hypothetically or potentially, it's a good amount of firepower. It's nothing to scoff at. You know, it's not like, to be honest with you, I'd rather have 4 size 3s than 2 size 4s. I'd rather have 4 size 3s than a bunch of size 2s and 1s. I don't know, there's something about it that I like the balance that 4 size 3 weapons gives us. But I think it's going to maneuver very, very well. The Crusader ships, the ones that we have in game, are larger ships. You know, the smallest Crusader ship that we can fly right now is the Ares, and they still maneuver pretty well. If you've flown a Hercules or an MSR, they're not small ships, but they fly like they are so light with the size that they are, especially the MSR. I feel like I'm flying a heavy fighter on, like, it feels so much more maneuverable than it should. So with it being a Crusader ship, I do think it is going to fit. With it being a Crusader ship, I think it's going to maneuver very, very well. That's the point I'm trying to get across. And because of that, I feel like it's going to hold its own in a dogfight very well, because it's got very good pilot DPS, and I think it's going to maneuver very well. And let's be honest, it's also got a living quarters. It's got a small living quarters for the pilot and the co-pilot, and being able to bedlog is just a big plus. Let's be honest. But what I see the most potential in are the bombs. Yeah, when you think of bombing things, you think of Jump Town, bombing players, and just wreaking havoc. But I do think there is a purpose there, or a use there, that is overlooked, which at least I haven't heard many people talk about it. And you can do it with the A2 as well, but with the big ass Moab, it's a little overkill. But if you guys have ever gone bounty hunting and accidentally grabbed an FPS bounty without knowing it, and I think if you have enough experience, you already know which ones are FPS bounties and are not FPS bounties, but you still have the options for you. If you accidentally grab a bounty like that and you find yourself unarmed, if you get lucky and your target is outside of like a derelict outpost or just outside in general, bomb that motherfucker. Just drop them bombs and boom. And honestly, that idea just gets me all giddy inside. It really does. But that is just my brief take on all the ships. All in all, even though I'm already biased towards the A1, I think the Crusader Spirit series are a line of ships that will be great and a welcome addition to the verse, giving us more options with the ships that we choose to fly in the verse, because let's be honest, the more variety, the better, and it gives each player more of their own identity out in the verse. Like I said, just a little brief kind of discussion about these ships. I'm really excited about them. I hope you guys are too. If you're not, I mean, if you are, let me know in the comments down below. If you're not, let me know in the comments down below. Discuss, let's talk. But I will, I'm gonna wrap things up here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead, leave a like, hit that subscribe button. I will see you guys in the next video and around the verse. Alrighty, have a good one.